Hello everyone, my name is Anuj. I'm a finally MBBS student at GMC Nagpur. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'll be talking about my complete NEET journey from day 1 to the day that the NEET results came out, and finally I got enrolled into my dream college, GMC Nagpur. It took a lot of effort. It took around 2 years of preparation in class 11th and 12th. There were a lot of ups and downs in this journey, and the reason that I'm making this video is because I want my story to be out there in the world so that all of you guys who are doing just good enough in your preparation can also believe that they can excel in the examination and hopefully provide you with the things which I did and worked for me so that you could apply that to your own preparation. The other reason is I would really love to watch a video about my complete NEET PG journey from some topper who topped the institute examination and is now into a PG specialty branch which they always dreamed of. That would, I think, help me out genuinely a lot, and that's the main reason that I'm making this video for all of you guys. So a little bit of introduction about me. I am Anuj. Hi. I scored an All India rank of 885 in my first attempt in NEET that I gave right after my 12th board examination was done. I also cleared the AIMS examination at that time, but I won't really focus more on that because that was never my top priority, so I never really prepared for that. Luckily, I still remember a lot of the dates specifically towards my preparation, and you could estimate the amount of months of preparation I did from these dates which I'm telling you. It's going to be a long video. It's going to be totally unscripted. I don't have any scripts in front of me. I'm just telling you whatever I feel from the heart. So yeah, without any further ado, let's go. Right, so we cannot go directly towards NEET without talking about the first class, 9th and 10th. I did my 9th and 10th from CBSE in Montfort School, Nagpur, which is a great school, and I was a pretty decent student over there. In 10th class, I got a CGPA of 10. I was not even among the top 10 of my school. I was just beyond that because there were so many brilliant people who were present in my school. If you take Nagpur as a city, I wasn't even in the competition if you take the 10th results, because everybody who studied even a small bit ended up getting 10 CGPA. So yeah, that's how I started, just like a normal boy who is not really that extra talented, who got 10 CGPA in 10th, is now going to prepare for NEET. My main motivation for cracking NEET was my sister, because she was currently doing her MBBS from a medical college, and she was at the time in second year MBBS. There are a lot of different well-known institutes present in Nagpur itself, but I won't reveal any of the names of the tuition classes which I went to because that would just create discrepancies, and I don't want my opinion to impede upon yours. Well, as you know, all of these coaching institutes provide an exam that you can give to avail certain % discount from their total price package of 2 years. So I gave that exam and I secured, I guess, around 60 or 65% in that exam. So I got that much percentage deducted from my total amount, and that is when I first started out with this coaching institute. Why? My first day in the coaching institute was on 6th of April 2016, and it was right after I had given my board examinations of class 10th. The results were not even out yet. So I just enrolled in and started going to the tuition class. Initially, I felt that it was very easy because all of the things in the starting part of the NCERT textbook are kind of similar to what you've already read in bio in the previous years. But what I struggled with in the initial part itself was physics, because the teacher who was present there, I did not even understand one single word of physics which they were teaching. So the first day experience was as usual. I went ahead and I met a lot of new people. Some of them are now in different medical colleges, some of them are my juniors. A lot of different things happened in the first day, and it was really vivid, and at that time I did not feel any sort of pressure about NEET examination or whatever, because I was very much chilled out in class 11th, like all of us actually are. So the first 20 days were a breeze. Everything was passing very easily, and then we hit this chapter called as Animal Kingdom in Zoology. That's where things actually got difficult, because we were starting to learn about kingdoms and phylums and all of that in a much more detailed manner than it was expected from us at that time. And that's when I felt okay, this is going to be difficult. I mean, I hope that many of you guys are able to relate to whatever I'm saying. At the same time, in chemistry, we were, I guess, teaching about moles and how to calculate them, and that's again a difficult chapter. And in physics, we were talking about integration and differentiation, which I thoroughly enjoyed, because now the teacher was changed and a different person was here teaching us, which meant physics was going to be pretty good for me for the next 1 year. Let's talk about studies. I did not study much in the first part of the 11th class, that is the first 3 or 4 months. I was just taking things lightly. I used to come back home from the tuition class, not do a lot of things, and then just study a little bit, enjoy the rest of the day, go out for playing cricket with my friends, and then go back to the tuition class the very next day. The college which I was going to, I did not have to attend that because, you know, it's managed by the tuition classes and everything, and it's a pretty well-known fact. The thing which I distinctly remember over here is that I had a lot of friends who were in the evening coaching classes as well. So in the same institute, there was a morning batch and there was an evening batch. So a lot of my friends were also in the evening batch because they had chosen a college which they had to attend, and I think that really stopped them for achieving their maximum potential, because if you are busy in the college in the day, then you come back home, then you go to the tuition class, it eats up all the time of your self-studies. Whenever you're choosing a tuition class, it would be so much more productive for you to just choose a college which was non-attending or which does not really care that much about the attendance, because you get so much time extra to self-study and you get so much time to build up upon your NEET skills and and all the things that you need to practice. Because I saw that many of the people who were enrolled in the evening batch were toppers of their respective schools coming from CBSE or state board, and all of these people in the end scored up less than me in the final examination. And one of the major reasons I would say is the time that they did not put in the preparation, rather they put their time into their college, which was ultimately unproductive for their life. I mean, that's just my opinion, because my schedule looked like classes from 8 to 12 and then come back home, study whenever you want to, relax, chill out, don't worry till the next day, and then you are set for life. Right, coming back to class 11, everything was going smoothly. Then the tuition class started conducting these weekly tests, and these weekly tests tested us on the basis of whatever we were taught in this one entire week. That was, I guess, the most important factor for which I actually studied in class 11, because in class 11th you are not serious about anything. You don't see the future, you just see the current moment, and you are basically just still a kid. You are just 16 or probably 17, and you don't really care that much about the future. At least we didn't back in 2016. Right, so these weekly tests started at around 7 or 8 weeks after the classes had been started, and they were very small. They were only of 30 minutes, and they used to be conducted every Thursday, and every Wednesday we would have a holiday. So every Wednesday and Sunday I got off, and remaining all the days I had tuition classes, which was a 4 hour. So you can imagine I got a lot of time to self-study, and that is the time that I utilized myself for doing accessory things. At the time when we started enrolling, the first weekly test came and I did not score good at all. And one more thing is that tuition class had the phone number of my parents, so they would message the results to me as well as to them. So nothing was hidden and everything was very transparent. So the first weekly test came, I did not score good. I think I got a rank of, I don't know, like 89 or 90 in the first weekly test amongst like 400 people who had given that test. So that was pretty devastating to me and my mom. I usually went by myself, but that one particular day she insisted that she come and pick me up. So she came, and in the car she asked me, beta result kaisa aaya tumhara? So I told her, and then she told me ki yeah, she had already seen the result and everything. So that was a pretty hard hit for me, because I thought my preparation was going good in the first half, but it really wasn't, because I wasn't really scoring anywhere near. And that is when I started to realize there was something wrong with my strategy that I was following, and that was something wrong with whatever I am doing. So the next weekly test, my only target was to go higher and higher and reach a certain decent rank which I would be proud of. So I started studying, and at that time I did not even know that we had to study NCERT, because there was no one to guide us, and our teachers, I don't think they ever told us to study that. So I attended classes, studied the modules, solved a few questions here and there, and then gave the weekly test. Again, my rank did not come so good. It was around 33 or 34 at that time, but it was a significant improvement from before. So I knew that there was something that I was doing was right. So gradually, whenever you're preparing for an exam, you get to slowly know how to prepare for it by doing your own experiments, doing your own things. And that is how I guess I learned that you need to practice a lot more in physics and chem, and also read a lot more in bio. So I bought this book called as H.C. Verma, as well as I bought this book GRB and a few other books which I can't really remember the names of, and I started doing questions from them as well as from the modules which I had already given in the tuition class. And then what I started to notice was that my amount of question solving directly correlated to how well I could manage my time during that test paper. So the weekly test was only 30 minutes, and in that 30 minutes we had to solve like 28 questions in that 30 minutes. So there was around 8 questions from each segment, so botany, zoology, physics and chemistry. The only goal which I had in mind while solving weekly tests was to complete all of that before time runs out, and also get mastered at marking the OMR sheet, which I guess nowadays is a very big problem, because you guys aren't even accustomed to filling the OMR sheet, and you should definitely practice that, because NEET is still offline, and it I guess will be for the next few years as well. And if you get a bubbling mistake wrong, your entire paper is just gone away and your entire preparation is wasted. Gradually my ranks started to come better. I was always in the top 15, I would say, in the first half of class 11th, and it was very difficult for me to go from 15 to like 10, 5, 1. I never came first. I never really knew why, because I was studying in the right direction. That is when the most important exam came, and that was one of the mental breakdown points for me during my NEET preparation. There were a few, so that was the first one. So the first mental breakdown came when our institute conducted this exam called as All India Institute Test. In that they included all the institutes across India, and every student who was enrolled in that institute gave that exam. I gave that exam with full preparation, and I started with physics, then I did chemistry, and then I did biology. I still remember the paper was from 3 to 6 in the institute, and I don't remember the date. And when I was solving the paper, I was already visualizing that my score is going to be so poor, because the paper was so difficult and the questions which I had done were not the ones which they were asking. And especially I started out with physics again, because because I did not know anything at that point. So physics, chem and bio, did it. It was pretty bad, and then like within 15 days, or I guess within a week, the results of that exam came. And that was the time where it actually hit me, because right in the middle of our zoology class, the chemistry professor who actually headed the institute came with the result sheet on his hand, and he started calling out the names of the toppers from the top 10 or I guess 15 list. So he started calling out XYZ, ABC, BZY, whatever, and all of these people had scored ranks like 128, 315, 412, 618, something like that. So they had all scored like that. Mine was not even in the list of the first top 10 people. And that is when it actually hit me that there is something seriously wrong with my preparation, because I knew that if I don't study well, I won't be able to crack NEET. I had gotten that sense in the first 3 or 4 months after starting that tuition class. And my tuition class played a super duper important role in the first 1.5 years of my preparation, as you will see from this video. Again, this is very long, so I don't know how many of you guys are watching, but yeah, those many people are watching, thank you so much for being with me till here. And then he went ahead and stapled that sheet over to that notice board, and I went ahead and saw that. So my rank was 890 amongst 60,000 people who had given that test, and the people who were in my center, they were way ahead of me, like 15-20 ranks ahead of me. I don't even know, but it was pretty bad. And the people that I was hanging out with at that time, all of these people were in the top 10-15, and that time I felt really bad. I felt that maybe this is not my cup of tea. I know there were like 390 people like in my institute who were doing less than me, but still I felt like I should be doing better, and I guess I expected more at that time. I got really depressed for that one particular day after the results was announced, and I basically stopped doing anything. I came back home, I cried a lot, and it was very devastating. I guess I did not talk to anybody for the next day, and then that is when I realized that I need to get my shit together and start doing things. My parents helped me out a lot, and they cheered me up and took me out of that phase of being depressed, because otherwise I would have probably given up on the preparation and nothing would be the same here today. So there are a lot of moments in the journey. So this was the first major one which I hit in class 11th. I guess a lot of you guys who are going through class 11th might be feeling the same, because whenever an All India Institute test comes up and your rank isn't what you're supposed to expect, it is going to be bad. It is going to be pretty devastating for you. The rest of the class 11th, I picked up my pace, and the weekly test results were now coming to be great. I was always in the top 5 for the next 4 or 5 months, and that was not necessarily because I was doing something extra. It was because the people who were with me were, I guess, not doing as much as they were doing before. So that is what happens when you're preparing for NEET. Like I told you, I was about to give up on my preparation after the first All India test, and I guess a lot of people did, and since they did, they fall back, and once you fall back, you just keep falling back. So you have to get up after you fall, and you just need to keep going, because otherwise people will run you over and it won't matter, because there's this huge competition which is present in the first place. And the reason is I was very consistent with my studies even then, and even I'm pretty consistent now, I would say, so that I definitely pick up the book once a day, read some part of it, at that time attend all the tuition classes. I did not take a lot of holidays. In fact, I guess I only took like 5 or 6 days off in the entire class 11th. I went to offline class almost every day, and because we were already given that one Wednesday and one Sunday off in the first place. So what my daily schedule in class 11th used to look like was, in the morning I used to wake up at around 6 and 6:30. My classes was at 8, so I studied a bit till 7:15, and then I went to my coaching class at 7:30. I used to reach there by around 7:45. I used to chill out 15 minutes with my very awesome friends which I made in the tuition class, and after that we had a one class, we had a small break, second class, and then the tuition ended. There were some doubt sessions for 1 hour. Teachers used to stay, excellent teachers, all of them, and they taught me a lot of different things which I definitely would not have. After that was done, I came back home, had my food, and basically did absolutely nothing till 3 p.m. The thing is, you need to rejuvenate your energy, and to me, I guess rejuvenation comes from watching movies and watching a few episodes from the series which I liked. So the series which I was following at that time was Friends, and I guess Friends teaches you a lot about life, and it teaches you so many different things, and it is so light-hearted, it is so fun. I used to come back home, watch like 3 to 4 episodes of friends while having food, and after that I felt so rejuvenated, so happy, and very glad to be back in my preparation zone. At 3:30 I used to sit down to study 5:30 or 6, and then again take a break for 1 or 2 hours, do something, go out with friends, play some cricket or badminton or whatever, come back home at 9:30 to 10:30 or 11:30. I again used to study a little bit more. So it was a pretty, dopamine detox life. The only fun that I was having was when I was with friends, and again when I was sometimes studying awesome things. I used to also take notes on whatever I was reading in my special notebook, and the main focus which I did was on modules and solving the books which I had bought. So HC Verma, GRB, all of that. I still remember I used to sit down solving physics and do like 300-400 questions of laws of motion or work, energy, power in one go, and absolutely nail most of them. I'd also discovered the Pomodoro method at that time by my own because I did not have any external sources. So I put up a timer for 30 minutes, and then in that timer I challenged myself to do 50 questions of physics. So I gradually got better and better, and that's what you do, you get better and better. And again the next All India test came. My rank shifted from 890 to 720. That was significant leap for me because it was not at least getting worse, because a lot of the people who were in front of me actually got way back. So the people who were scoring like 600 or 700 at that time All India rank, they went back ahead to 1500 or 2000. So traditionally again I remained the same, but a lot of people went just backwards. I think that's what happened. I was in the top 7 or top 10 of my institute at that time, which was pretty good for me. I was really happy with where I was at. Gradually what happened was that with each weekly test, one particular segment of my syllabus kept getting over and over, and that is one of the reasons I will be joining a test and discussion group from DAMS probably 2 or 3 months later in finally MBBS, because they again have the same thing, like they have one test schedule for each month or each week, something like that. Once you have a weekly objective to work towards, you will be much more focused and you will know exactly what to complete. And after you are done with that weekly objective, you won't forget it because you've already solved the questions upon it. You've done a test, you also had your ranking listed, each individual marks from each individual questions that you have already given. At that time the favorite subject which I had was physics, and at that time the most hated subject was botany, because the teacher who was teaching us botany, I don't think that I understood even one word which sir taught us. It was completely something which, it was like the worst. It was very difficult for me to understand whatever sir was teaching. Physics, because I really loved the concepts, I understood differentiation, integration, and how it applied to all the different aspects of physics. And again, HC Verma, pretty great book. I would recommend you check it out. The second major mental trauma, I would say, came to me at the end of class 11th when we had almost done everything and my ranks were good, everything was good. So how it happened was, I was one day just opening up Facebook on my computer and I saw this message from one of my friends, Nupur, and she said that, hey, do you want to go visit the other friend of mine? I said, sure, it will be very fun. And then she asked me, Anuj, haven't you heard? So I asked Nupur, haven't you heard what? And it was like 11:30 at the night and I was almost about to sleep. I just opened up Facebook. After like many days I had opened it, and she said, the other friend which we have passed away yesterday. And the other friend was our school friend. She was very close to all of us. She was amongst the very close friends we had in class 10th. It was a very nice group and she had passed away. I won't go into the details and anything because I don't think you have the right to know all of that. But it was the most painful thing which I remember in class 11th. I could not sleep properly that night and after that, the following 15 or 20 days I was devastated by everything because I could not focus, I could not concentrate because the other friend was such a huge part of our life. She had been our friend for around 7 or 8 years at that time. So can you imagine losing a friend who was with you since class 5th or 6th? And that was a huge blow. And somehow I coped up with that and finally got back onto my preparation. And in class 12th I got very serious about my preparation. I had only one goal in mind, and that was All India rank 1. I guess everybody in India has that one goal, but only one person gets it. Well, guess what? Then class 12 started and the main goal of our coaching institute was to finish the syllabus in the first 6 months. Finish the syllabus almost till the end of November. And that's exactly what they did. They finished the syllabus at the end of November, and in class 12 was pretty uneventful. I just had this very good timetable in mind. Like I said, I had the same timetable which I was following in class 7, just a bit more off off from all the time pass and everything and solving a lot more questions. Much more focused on class 12 because I had done my class 11 perfectly. Like I said, every week one thing is going to happen, so that I covered the entire syllabus week by week, and each week consolidated one part for me. So I had no problem in class 11 because I get a lot of comments saying I've wasted class 11th, what should I do? I don't know, I haven't ever faced the same thing, so I really can't comment on the same. In class 12th it was really nice for me because 11th is pretty huge, pretty massive. 12th is very easy compared to that. At that time my sister was, I guess, in third year MBBS, and she used to come home a lot because she used to get a lot of leaves from her college, and it was really fun because now I could discuss human physiology and all of that with her. It was really fun. In class 12, the best thing that happened to us was the botany teacher, which I told you he got changed, and we finally got the best teacher of botany ever. And the way sir taught was genuinely amazing. I still remember a lot of lectures which he taught applied to me in first year MBBS as well, because a lot of the things in class 12th that you see, like biotechnology, which is not a part of botany, I know, but DNA replication, all of that, they all come back to you again in biochemistry. So it was nice. My favorite subject at that time was biology because at the start of 12th I started reading NCERT a little bit. I had at that time did not touch the NCERT of class 11th, and class 12th I was just starting to read that, and at that time I understood that, oh, I have made a huge mistake of not reading this beautiful golden book called as NCERT. And because most of the questions which I saw in NCERT, I felt like those questions were the ones which I got incorrect in all of those weekly tests, because my modules were very detailed, and if you go too fine into the details you won't see the bigger picture. It's one of the lines written in one of the great books of pathology, that is Robbins. It says that in a forest, if you're standing too close to one tree, you will forget to see that there is a big forest around you. And that's exactly what happened. If you are reading too fine, you won't see the bigger picture. The Volcano test series started once again. At that time they were grand tests, so class 11 plus class 12 combined, and each of these grand tests I never got a rank beyond like 500 or 400. So I was always in like 320, like 150, 159, or sometimes almost always in this range of 100 to 300. Those tests were now very much based on NCERT rather than the modules. So in class 12 I really felt like this is what the NEET paper is going to look like, and at that time I was very positive that my selection could actually happen. The schedule again which I followed in the first half of 12th was the same as class 11th. At the end of November they did actually complete the syllabus, and we were basically done with everything. I was very happy that my preparation for NEET was over, and the only thing left to do was now revision. And boy oh boy was I so wrong at that point, because I thought that everything was done, but in reality I had forgotten like 60% of the syllabus which I had read in class 11th and sometimes in class 12th, because I never bothered going back and reading that topic again after the weekly test was over. See, motives also matter, right? So December started and my only goal was to revise a lot of stuff as many times as possible, because my sister told me that as many times as you revise this syllabus, the more strength you will have in that exam that you're going to be facing. So began the phase which I like to call the revision saga. And first I started out with class 11th, and side by side small bits and pieces of class 12th. At that time I did not really focus much on the institute, I focused on myself. So the preparation in the later half of my NEET journey, that is the last 6 months, was always based on me. So it was like I wanted to complete 7 chapters from botany. That means I had to complete 7 chapters on botany even if the test was on zoology. I did not care if the test was on zoology because my goal was botany. And that is the way that I, sort of detached myself from the tuition classes after the need of tuition classes to explain and to test you was over, and now I had done everything. I could understand things on my own and I could give papers on my own. So I did not miss a single test even though I was doing on my own timetable, but I did not bother too much on the marks. But guess what? The marks never declined even once because I was still preparing every day. One more thing was going to happen soon, that is in February class 12th boards are going to be coming. So I was a little bit stressed out about that because I did not even buy the books of board up till December or January. I remember my first paper was on 21st of February and I bought the books for boards in 1st of February, and then that is the place when I started preparing for boards. And guess what? In class 12 boards I ended up getting 93.5 or something like that. I don't remember exactly, which was pretty good for me, especially if I had prepared for only that 20-21 days. At that time I also started getting up very early in the morning, so I used to wake up at 4:30 or 5 initially and gradually titrated it up to like 4 and sometimes even before that. In the morning hours I used to study so much, I used to get so much done, and I guess I did that for around 2 months very strictly. Once I was very thorough with the syllabus, I had revised everything once or twice. It took me around 1 month to complete the first revision, but it took me around only 15 days to complete the next and only like 5 or 6 days to complete the next. So I was getting very good at revising everything very fast, and in the end the last 1 month of NEET came, and that is when I gave everything up. I said that I will not go to a tuition class, I will not ask any sort of doubt doubts, and the only thing which I'll be doing is solving the grand tests, and those will be previous year question papers exactly like the way they've asked before in NEET. So I started around 45 days before the NEET exam, and so my timetable was to revise class 11 solve paper, class 12 solve paper, analyze them, write the mistakes in the mistake book, and prepare myself mentally for the next day. And I did that for the last 45 days very strictly. I solved around 50 or so NEET papers, and it was very at that time I was very focused. I was very confident that this is my goal. I have done it 50 times. I will be able to do it in the 51st, 52nd, 56th time when I finally gave the NEET paper. You see, my exam was going to be coming up on 6th of May of 2018, and I was very confident with it. But the thing is, another very big tragedy stuck on me. That is, my Nana ji, who is one of the closest person I had been to in my entire life, he passed away at the age of 86, just 13 days prior to the NEET exam. And it was so devastating. I was completely crippled by his loss, and it was a very sad moment at that time. And I guess a lot of you guys could relate to this as well, because I know that many of our grandparents, they pass away when we are preparing, and it's very difficult for us to cope up. Telling myself is that he lived a great life. He had so many children. He got to see his grandkids. He had a basically very nice life, and it was time for him to leave this world and go to someplace better, hopefully. And that is how I consoled myself, even after losing such a dear person to me at that point. And it was very difficult on me for at least 2 or 3 days. I could not study much. There were so many people going in and out of the house because there are so many functions after a person dies, and so yeah, that happened. And finally, I got myself back, and only 10 days were remaining for NEET. I started doing the same thing again and again. I used to kept giving the grand test. And the reason that I was able to succeed in NEET was because I was very good at revising the entire syllabus very quickly. I did not stop. I did not let anything interrupt my mind, cloud my mind. I also did not have a girlfriend at that point any time during my preparation. That all happened after I was done with the NEET, and the results also came out. And it also ended very soon, so it doesn't matter. So the NEET exam day was here, and I was really not that much anxious. I knew that it was going to be okay for me because I had studied so much. And I'll tell you, sometimes when good things are going to happen in your life, the universe will give you signs. So my college was Dhanvate College in Nagpur, which is a very old sort of institute, and it's not really that good with the benches and everything. So I went ahead in the exam day. Everything was fine. I just went inside the exam hall. The exam was from 10 to 1 at that point in 2018. So I went ahead, and all the benches which are present over there were not of good quality. There was not even a mica on that bench sheet, and it was so difficult. I felt like अगर इसमें OMR sheet रख के मैं गोले भरूंगा तो वो तो pierce हो जाएगी OMR sheet के तुरंत, फिर मेरा पेपर गया. But there was only one bench, right, which had a very good mica sheet. It was very posh. It was like that one very good bench amongst like 50 or 60 bad benches, and that was my bench. So my roll number was written on that bench, and that was a sort of sign to me. It was like a divine intervention ki you have prepared so much, so the universe will give you this bench in which you can comfortably sit and write the exam. And I remember sitting there and all the people looking at me ki ye wala acha bench kiska hai. But in the end, I gave the NEET paper, and luckily I solved it very quickly thanks to all the practice I had done previously. And I was not at all really that much stressed. It was pretty okay. I had accepted that whatever is going to come is going to be good. I'm going to be selected. It was an internalization which I had given to myself, and that sort of gave me the courage to move ahead and not worry about the things which would decrease my performance otherwise. So my father was waiting outside near his car, and right after the paper was done, I rushed to him and I said, Papa, selection ho jayega, GMC Nagpur pakka hai. And that was the college that I was aiming for. Like I told you from the starting, it was my dream college because I live in Nagpur and it's like 10 minutes from here. It's super beautiful college. I would recommend to everybody. And at that time I was so happy. Came back to the house, and it was the exact same day that Infinity War was released. And we were very happy. So I took all of my family and we went ahead to watch Infinity War. Right before going, the official answer key was released on Ellen's website or Akash's website, I don't know. And I just calculated my score, and roughly it was coming at that point around 645. So there were a few mistakes in the answer key at that time. I did not know. I just calculated roughly based on what I had marked down as my answers, because I remembered each of the answers which I marked down. So 645, I thought that would exactly give me a rank under 200, under 100 sometimes in NEET. That used to happen back in 2018. So I was very happy. I told my parents, they were extremely happy. They were like, okay, chalo, bande ne acha kiya, kafi pada. We went to saw Infinity War. I met a lot of my friends who had also given NEET in the same movie theater. Awesome. The official answer key was released. The official OMR sheet was released. I did not even bother. I was like, okay, मैंने दे दिया, अब तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते. No point in calculating. जो होगा सो होगा, result के दिन देखेंगे. So we planned out a trip to Shimla and Manali and all of those beautiful places in the Himachal and all of that. Yeah, the trip was of 15 days. It was a pretty long time. I went ahead, got into the trip at the end of May, and when I was traveling from Shimla to Manali or Manali to Shimla, I don't remember, we were in this dhaba and my teacher messaged me rank kitna aaya, and I was very shocked. कौन सा rank भाई, किसका rank, NEET का result out हुआ है क्या? Because again my phone was pretty stupid, or I guess I had bought OnePlus 6 at that time, I don't remember. So I rushed back from the dhaba into my bus, opened up my laptop, refreshed everything, finally entered my roll number, and guess what? I was All India rank 885 at that point. It was the biggest achievement I had ever done in my life, and it is something which I'm super dearly proud of because it took a lot of time and effort to reach there. I just almost screamed on the top of my voice when I saw that, and I took the laptop, rushed back inside to the dhaba with a very, very big smile on my face, and I gave that laptop to my father and my mother and my sister. All of them were sitting in that one table. I told them ki देखो हो गया NEET pass, 885 आया rank. We were so happy at that point. I cannot go back to and just relive that moment, but I really want to. It was great. In fact, it was everybody was so happy that we threw a mini party to the entire Kesari group of people who were traveling with us, and woohoo, finally did it. शाम में DJ था शिमला या मनाली में, and वहाँ पे हमने बहुत enjoy किया रात में. The next day I saw my photos in the papers of Nagpur and all across India, and a lot of our friends and relatives were sending us photos of me in the paper, in the top page, in the front page, back page, whatever. And the thing is that I was happy, but more happier than me were my parents and my sister. They felt like, okay, they had seen me work hard, right? And when you see your close one work hard and they actually succeed, it's one of the biggest achievements for you as well, because you were a part of that journey. And I felt like I made my parents proud at that moment. Finally, the 1st of August came and we had to take admission in GMC Nagpur. I did that very, very happily, and I then threw a party that I am finally a medical student now. It is a huge thing for anybody to crack NEET, and I could never get over it. I still can't. There is still NEET PG coming. Hopefully I will be able to do good in that as well. I'm trying my best. I don't know what the outcome is, but NEET PG is not that hard as NEET UG because every branch is almost good if you are actually liking almost all the subjects. So it's only a matter of branch. It won't be a matter of whether you're a medical student or you're a secondary some other student in life. So yeah, that was a huge thing. So I guess that was my entire NEET journey, and I don't know how many minutes this is gonna take. The recording is currently at 52 minutes, so I think it's gonna make like a 28-minute video out of this. If you are here watching till the end, thank you so much for being a part of this. It has been a huge opportunity for me to share and relive all of these moments through this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button, no aims, no goals, etc., and subscribe if you like videos such as this one. Thank you so much for watching. It's your boy Anuj. I'll catch you in the next one.